Good morning, grade 9s. Welcome to today's lesson where we're going to have a closer look at compound interest when dealing with finance. Okay, how the compound interest works and how it's different to simple interest. Compound interest grows exponentially. So what that means is the interest gets added to every year's amount and then the interest gets worked out on that new amount. So it grows much quicker than what simple interest would. But let's have a look. I want to show you how it works in the background, how it works without using the formula, just to get a better understanding on the compound interest. Let's have a look at this example. Luyanda won a competition at school in her grade 8 year. Her payout was 2,000 Rand. Her parents convinced her to save the money and not to go spend it on unnecessary things. She reluctantly agreed. She placed the money in a fixed savings account that paid out 10% compound interest per annum. Luckily, she listened to her parents because 4 years later, in her grade 11 year, the investment paid out, and she couldn't believe her eyes. Okay, so the very important information from this text that you need to grab from this, that you need to highlight, is that it was 2,000 Rand, 10% compound interest for 4 years. So on this page, I just wrote it down there in the corner so that we can refer to that. The key information there was 2,000 Rand at 10% compound interest for 4 years. So year 1 would work out exactly the same as it would have been with simple interest, because you work out 10% on the original amount. 10% of the amount that you put in 2,000 gives you 200 Rand interest. Then after year 2 is when it changes, when it becomes different for compound interest. Let's have a closer look. So for simple interest, we would have again just said 10% of 2,000 Rand. But because it's compound interest, we take that previous interest, we add it to what was in the bank account to give us the 2,200 Rand. And then only we work out 10% on our new amount. So 10% of 2,200 Rand gives you 220 Rand now. So can you see that with compound interest, you gained another 20 Rand just by having it as compound interest. Okay, again for year 3, 10% of, now it's a new amount that you're working it out of. And how did I get that amount? I said 220 from the previous year plus what was in the bank account, then 2,200 gave you a new amount. And the 10% on that gave you 242 Rand. Can you see how it becomes a little bit more, where simple interest would have been just been 200, 200, 200. Same for year 4, 10% of, how did I get that 2,662? I took the 242 and I added it to the previous year's amount that was in the bank account to get that amount, and I work out 10% thereof. All right, so can you see that this is, it grows, it's compounded, it gets put together year after year. And there is an easier way to use the formula that is right, but I just thought maybe you want to see in the background how it works to understand it a little bit better. So all of these added together will give you the total interest, which is 928 Rand, plus the original 2,000 that Luyanda put into the account, gave her now 2,928 Rand and 20 cents. All right, but we can use the formula. A is equal to P, 1 plus I, and can you see now instead of the N being inside the bracket with compound interest, it's to the power N. Okay, and exactly the same, everything stands for exactly the same as the simple interest. A is the future amount, P is the present amount, I is the interest, also written as a decimal, very important, and the N is the number of years. Okay, please have a look at this formula, memorize it. You need to know the formula off by heart. All right, so let's just quickly pop that in to see whether we get the same amount as what we did when we did it manually. So remember, Luyanda got 2,000 Rand, so the P amount would be 2,000 Rand. The interest is 0.10 or 0.1. Remember, 10% written as a decimal, and the N is 4 years. So when we replace it into our formula, you just punch that into your calculator, and voila, you get your answer, 2,928 comma 20. So the future amount, A, is the interest plus the original amount, which gives you a total of 2928. Let's quickly have a look at another example, a little bit of a different one. Yeah, I just want to show you, I think it's very easy for you to punch that into the formula and get your answer. So I want to show you a few variations of questions that we like to ask. So Christine invested X amount into a savings account that paid out 25,937 Rand and 42 cents after 10 years. So what have they given me? Have they given me the P value, or have they given me the future amount? The account that was paid out after 10 years. Aha, they've given me the future amount. They've given me A's value, and they're asking you to work out how much must she invest now so that she gets a payout of 25,937 Rand and 42 cents. Okay, the account paid out 10% compound interest compounded annually. Calculate the initial amount placed into the account. Calculate the initial amount. Calculate P. All right, and I want to show you how easy it is. So you're going to replace all the values that you have into your formula. A's value was 25,000. The interest written as a decimal is 0.10, and the number of years is to the power of 10. All right, so can you see that you can simplify that bracket and to the power 10? So you're just going to punch that into your calculator. 1 plus 0.10 equals all raised to the power 10, or you can put it in brackets, all raised to the power 10. Then you get your answer. Now, I would like to encourage you to keep as many digits or as many decimals as you can, because that will bring you to close. It will bring you closer to the answer, to the real answer. Okay, so when you simplify that bracket, you will see then that simplified is 2,59374246. Okay, but we are finding P. We want to find X. Okay, so what is standing next to P? They are vibing, they're multiplying the 2,59. So we do the inverse, we divide with 2,59. But what we do on the one side, we have to do on the other side. So that will initially cancel out, or divided with each other will give you 1. 1 times P just gives you P. All right, but I like to always say cancel out. All right, so then you've got P alone, and now all you need to do is you need to, in your calculator, put in 25,937,42 divided by that long digital number 2,59374246, and then your answer gives you a lovely rounded off answer of P is 10,000 Rand. Okay, so she has to invest 10,000 Rand so that she can get a payout of 25,937. And you can go and check your answer. You can go and insert it into P as 10,000, insert the rest as given, and see whether, if you press answer, that it does give you 25,937. So it's easy to check your answers as well. Okay, let's look at another example. Now they say to you, Alessia invested 20,000 Rand into a savings account that paid out 40,000. Wow, so they gave me A and P. A is 40,000, the future amount, and P, the present amount, is 20,000 Rand. And that is after 5 years. So we've got the N as 5 years. Now they ask you, the account paid out X% compound interest compounded annually. Calculate the interest as a percentage of this investment. So we've got everything except for I, the interest. Okay, so I'm going to replace my I with an X just so that I can show you that we are trying to find X. So when you write this up, the one thing that is multiplied with that whole bracket is 20,000. So what if I divide each side with 20,000? Then you're going to get rid of that 20,000 on the one side, and 40,000 divided by 20,000 simplified would give you 2. So 2 is equal to, and what is left? 1 plus X, all to the power of 5. Sure. Okay, what now? Okay, I hope you could think of, remember, what is the inverse of, let's say, a cube? Something to the power 3. Is a cube root. And what is the inverse of a square? Something square is square rooted. So something to the power of 5, if you, I don't know, cube it to the 5th root, that's the only way I can explain it, on each side, that will cancel out. But another way you can do it is you can put both sides to the power a 5th, because 5 times a 5th will give you 1. But if you don't understand that, just please follow what I'm doing on the slideshow here. So if you put both sides to the 5th cube, no, to the 5th root, I don't know how to say that very nicely, but you will see on your calculator there's a button that gives you a square, a root with an open bracket. You have to press shift to get to it, and then you put 2 in under the 5th root and a 5 at the bottom, at the top there. So what we are basically looking for is that left hand side. So that will cancel out. The 5th root and to the power 5 cancels out, but we want the left hand side. And see whether, if you punch that into your calculator, try and find that button. If you can't find it, reach out to your teacher, but please try and find it, punch it in, and see whether you can get 1,148698. And then it's easy, because then you throw the positive 1 over, it becomes a -1, so it gives you 0,148698 is equal to X. But remember, they are asking you to write it as a percentage. So at the moment, it is written in a decimal form. We don't want it in a decimal form. How do we get it back to a percentage? So remember, in the beginning, I said you write it as a decimal by dividing it with 100. So now we want to take it from a decimal to a percentage. So we times with 100. So you say X is equal to, I just wrote it the right way around, or you can leave it like it was, but X is equal to 0,148698, and we times that with 100, which gives you X. The percentage compound interest should have been 14,87%. And again, you can go and insert that in the beginning of your equation there and see whether it gave you 40,000 Rand. Okay. All right, and there's your 4 questions. Please go and do it carefully. It is a little bit more challenging than just the normal popping it into the formula and getting your answer. You have to try and chip away at it to find X, or to find the number of years, or to find, I don't think we did the number of years, sorry, to find the future amount, or to find the interest. So please try and do these. It's only 4 questions, and it will be of good benefit for your class test coming up on Friday. You must have a wonderful day. Thanks. Bye-bye.